Hello everyone and welcome to the program. I'm Joke Rogers here in Lagos. Russian President Vladimir Putin has pledged to deepen ties with Madagascar following talks at the Kremlin with the island nation's interim leader, Colonel Michael Randrianirina. Welcoming the Madagascan leader to Moscow, Mr. Putin highlighted what he describes as a productive and promising cooperation between the two countries across agriculture, geopolitical exploration, energy, healthcare, medicine, and education. He also expressed Moscow's interest in strengthening diplomatic coordination with Madagascar on international fronts. Colonel Randrianirina, who assumed power 4 months ago after the former president fled amid weeks of demonstrations, arrived in Moscow on Wednesday. His visit comes just weeks after Russia delivered military equipment to the island nation. The Kremlin meeting marks one of Colonel Randrianirina's first major international engagement since taking office. He previously traveled to the United Arab Emirates and South Africa, where he met President Cyril Ramaphosa. The talks underscore Russia's continued push to expand its influence across Africa through strategic partnerships and security cooperation. The United Nations says at least 15 children have been killed in a drone strike on a displacement camp in Sudan's West Kordofan region. UNICEF reports the attack took place on Monday in Al-Sunut, leaving 10 other children wounded. The agency warns that across the Kordofan region, now the fiercest battleground in Sudan's war, children are being killed, injured, displaced, and cut off from essential services, echoing patterns previously seen in Darfur. Meanwhile, the UN Human Rights Office says it's alarmed by reports that at least 57 civilians were killed in separate drone strikes between the 15th and 16th of February in Kordofan, West Darfur, and Sennar State. According to UN Human Rights spokesperson Sif Mangango, the strikes reportedly carried out by both the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces hit a displacement shelter, a hospital, a market, and 2 primary schools. The UN is calling for an immediate halt to attacks on civilian targets, urgent protection for civilians, and renewed dialogue to end the violence.
We are alarmed by reports that scores of civilians were killed in drone strikes in Sudan's Kordofan region, in West Darfur, and in Sennar State in only 2 days this week. At least 57 civilians were killed in separate drone strikes reportedly carried out by the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces between 15 and 16 February, and many more injured. A shelter for internally displaced people, a hospital, a market, and 2 primary schools were among the civilian objects that were hit. These latest killings are yet another reminder of the devastating consequences on civilians of the escalating use of drone warfare in Sudan. Attacks on civilian objects must stop. The parties must take urgent measures to protect civilians. Both sides must stop the violence and fully embrace dialogue. And all states, particularly those with influence, must do all in their power to end the transfer of arms that are fueling the conflict.
In the meantime, the United Nations-backed fact-finding mission has concluded that Sudan's Rapid Support Forces carried out acts that bear the hallmarks of genocide in and around El Fasher. In a report released, the Independent International Fact-Finding Mission for Sudan says the RSF led a coordinated campaign of destruction targeting predominantly non-Arab communities. The mission documented war crimes and crimes against humanity and says evidence shows at least 3 underlying acts of genocide were committed, including the killing of members of protected ethnic groups, causing serious bodily and mental harm, and deliberately inflicting conditions intended to bring about their physical destruction.
The fact-finding mission finds that the 18-month siege of El Fasher that preceded the takeover of the city on 26th and 27th of October was used to systematically dismantle the means of survival of its predominantly non-Arab population, particularly the Zagawa and Ful, culminating in catastrophic humanitarian collapse. The Rapid Support Forces, RSF, encircled the city, cutting off food, water, electricity, and medical supplies, while subjugating residential areas, displacement camps, markets, and places of worship to repeated shelling and drone strikes. Earthen burns developed by the RSF and trenches extending over 31 kilometers around Al-Fasher restricted civilian movements and effectively entramped its population. The cumulative effect of prolonged starvation, denial of humanitarian aid and medical care, and restricted movements and targeted violence rendered survival increasingly impossible for the affected communities, creating conditions of life incapable with human survival.
To health matters now, Zimbabwe has become one of the first countries globally to roll out a national program twice yearly injectable drug for HIV prevention. Health Minister Douglas Memboshora launched the initiative on Thursday, describing it as a major step towards ending AIDS as a public health threat. Developed by Gilead Sciences, the drug is reported to be nearly 100% effective and removes the need for daily PrEP pills, a breakthrough for people who struggle with adherence. The initial phase, funded by the U.S. government and the Global Fund, will target more than 46,000 high-risk individuals across 24 sites, including adolescent girls, young women, and sex workers. Zimbabwe, home to about 1.3 million people living with HIV, has already achieved UNAIDS 95 treatment targets, and officials say this latest innovation could further accelerate progress in the fight against HIV spread. More health matters, this time in Lagos State, Nigeria, where the government says it has deployed digital innovations to deepen its malaria and tuberculosis elimination across the state. The State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, disclosed that the state government has digitized 514 private providers, recording a 5% malaria positivity rate. He made the comment at an event in Lagos, which also featured the launch of community-based molecular TB diagnostics aimed at closing the 66% detection gap in the state.
Lagos State top government officials from the Ministry of Health, national program leaders and private partners in the health sector meet in Ikeja, Lagos to advance a dual elimination strategy targeting malaria and tuberculosis. The conversation is focused on eradicating malaria and expanding tuberculosis diagnostics through digital innovation.
We reached over 75,000 patients. We proved that rapid tests can deliver accurate diagnosis through the private sector. And because of our efforts, Lagos now qualifies as a malaria elimination zone.
The State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, explains that two indicators such as malaria prevalence and malaria test positivity now guide policy decisions in the state. And since testing has become mandatory, positive malaria cases are down below 1% in March 2025, confirming that 95% of fever cases in Lagos are not malaria.
We wanted to truly understand what the disease burden of malaria is in Lagos so that we can drive an intelligent program towards pre-elimination and elimination.
On the issue of tuberculosis, the Commissioner reveals that Lagos accounts for 9% of Nigeria's TB burden, with only 3,565 of an estimated 6,038 cases detected in the second quarter of 2025.
We're really trying to come to the bottom of the narrative, to unpack exactly what's going on, to unpack the drivers of these diseases, and to ensure that we can put interruptions in space and ensure that Lagos can move our indices in the direction that we can all be proud of.
Other states are advised to emulate Lagos' data-driven approach to improve tuberculosis treatment and coverage.
As a country, and every state needs to be challenged, need to watch what Lagos State is doing.
The Chairman House Committee on Infectious Diseases at the Federal House of Representatives and other speakers applaud the state for building on its malaria successes to scale tuberculosis diagnostics.
His Excellency Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu must be commended for their leadership in steering the state to a free malaria state. I am very much convinced that if Lagos State gets it right, Nigeria will get it right.
Delivering the key address on behalf of Governor Sanwo-Olu is the Secretary to the State Government, who reaffirms the government's commitment to strengthen healthcare system in the state.
Together, we will build a healthier Lagos State, stronger, safer, and unstoppable. And with the collective resolve of our people and you, our dear partners, we shall deliver a Lagos that is healthier, stronger, and future-ready.
The high point of the event is the unveiling of tuberculosis diagnostic scale-up, tagged End TB Now, signaling a new phase in the state's integrated disease elimination drive.
Staying with Lagos State, but this time we take a look at security. As part of efforts to boost security in state, 30 police stations have been set for renovation by private donors through the Lagos State Security Trust Fund. This is coming from the Executive Secretary of the fund, Mr. Ayo Oguson, while briefing journalists on the fund's activities since his appointment. He adds that the fund will deepen its operational impact across several priority areas.
The Lagos State Security Trust Fund supports security agencies in Lagos with logistics and infrastructure to enhance the protection of lives and properties across the metropolis. Reeling out the team's achievements in the last 100 days, the LSSTF CEO explained that more operational and patrol vehicles have been added to the state's security infrastructure to enhance rapid response capabilities, as plans are on the way for the surveillance of the Lagos airspace.
Within this period, we recorded several important achievements. We successfully revived retail donation channels to encourage broader public participation in supporting security initiatives. We also maintain frequent and robust engagement with all security agencies operating within Lagos State to ensure alignment, responsiveness, and effective deployment of resources.
Plans have also been finalized to refurbish 30 police stations through the generous support of private sector contributors.
We've secured a partner and they have taken a very, very reasonable number. I think about 30 of them will be renovated and we're going to do them in phases of 10. In the next 100 days, the fund will deepen its operational impact across security, several key priority areas. We will commence immediately a statewide training programs for all security agencies.
Lined up at the police command's headquarters in Ikeja are 4 new anti-crime patrol vehicles ready to be donated by the State Security Trust Fund for crime prevention and control.
The donation of this vehicle, 4 vehicle, patrol vehicle today, to another set of strategic patrol team that we are setting up on the approval of the Inspector General of Police and supported by the Mr. Governor of Lagos State, which we could name anti-crime patrol and community protection. But this set of anti-crime patrol and community protection are going to be hub in Morocco so that you can have access to the Victoria Island and Ikoyi and equally to all the other areas in the Lokosa Road, inward to Lekki and Naija and all the adjoining area to Egbe.
As security agencies and residents look forward to more support in infrastructure and training, the team has reaffirmed the fund's commitment to transparency, accountability, and partnership with the government, private sector, and residents to sustain a safe and well-secured Lagos.
Welcome to our Africa Tech segment. Police across 16 African countries have arrested more than 650 suspected cyber criminals and recovered over $4.3 million in a major international crackdown on online scams. The operation, led by Interpol and known as Operation Red Card 2.0, ran from December 2025 to the end of January 2026. It targeted criminal networks behind online investment fraud, mobile money scams, and fake loan applications, affecting thousands of victims in Africa and beyond. Investigators say the schemes are linked to more than $45 million in global losses. Authorities identified at least 1,247 victims, seized more than 2,300 electronic devices, and shut down over 1,400 malicious websites and servers. In Cote d'Ivoire alone, police dismantled a loan fraud network that used deceptive apps to exploit vulnerable users. In Nigeria, suspects were arrested for allegedly breaching a telecom company's internal system and reselling stolen airtime and data. So let's get more on this. Joining us now is Olabode Agbola, President of the Cybersecurity Expert Association of Nigeria. He joins us from Coventry in the United Kingdom. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to the viewers.
Right, so Operation Red Card 2.0 led to more than 650 arrests across 16 African countries and exposed networks linked to over $45 million in global losses. How significant is this crackdown for Africa's fight against organized cybercrime?
Yeah, thank you for the question. To me, that is a very laudable achievement. It's a great feat for the Africa for cracking down on this cyber crook. And I can tell you that there is still a lot of them that still need to be intercepted, because there are a lot of syndicates, a lot of cybercrime crook all over the world. Bear with me. So this is just a few of several apprehensions I will expect to happen this year. Yeah, thank you very much.
Right, and the operation targeted online investment fraud, mobile money scams, and fake loan applications. Why are these types of scams proving so effective across the continent?
Sorry, thanks. Pardon me for my throat. Yeah, so I can tell you that cyber crook will always like to target sector that will give them maximum impact in terms of the revenue they expect to make fraudulently. And secondly, a lot of digital users, they are not cyber aware. So the mechanism that is used most of the time by this cyber crook is called phishing. Phishing is just hacking of the mind, taking advantage of people's ignorance about how digital system works. So this cybercrime understand how digital systems work in the banking sector, and they know people are not aware of how it works. So they try to leverage the knowledge they have to execute fraudulent activities against people. So my take home, my key point is, we have to increase in cybersecurity awareness. Government has been doing a lot, but they need to do more. We have a lot of government agencies who could come up, partner with media houses, partner with social media influencers, and run awareness from time to time so that people can be knowledgeable about how they can be compromised. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and bringing it home, here to Nigeria, suspects allegedly breached a telecom company's internal system using stolen staff login details. What does this reveal about corporate cybersecurity gaps and insider threats in the country?
Yeah, so access control in cybersecurity, there's what is called access with certification. That is to say, somebody who was granted access in January, there should be a confirmation from the supervisor that the person still need the access, for instance, in March. So if somebody's account has been compromised, I will blame it on the poor access control. Then access control has gone beyond username and password. There are a lot of different mechanisms in place, like multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication. Then there is what is called identity providers. It's a different third-party software that will generate a token for you when you want to log on. So you need to know your password. Then another software that has been integrated into the system will also generate the password. So if somebody steals my credential, for instance, at the point of logging on, the person must also have that software on his phone, and that software must have been enabled on our system. So it's going to be difficult for somebody to steal my password and log on as me, because at the point of logon, that third-party software will generate a code and you won't be able to see it. So I'll blame it on access control. And I think organizations are aware now that access control is now beyond password and username. They are now an integration of third-party system called identity providers. Yeah.
And for those watching us on this program at this hour, what are the key warning signs of online investment and mobile money scams, and practical steps people can take to protect themselves?
Yeah, so to me, when things appear to be too good, then it's a red flag. Then number two, we must learn how to do another level of validation. For instance, if somebody proposes to me that there is a business proposal online, I will use different means to authenticate that that is legit. Then also, I can tell you that the federal government has started a kind of initiative called Digital Trust Mark Seal. It's a seal that every online vendor must have obtained from the federal government to authenticate that they are authorized and they know that they are legitimate online vendors. So when this scheme comes to life, people should watch out for which digital product online has this seal and which one does not, so that they can be aware which one they need to do business with online and which one they should avoid online. So my take home is we should be careful of things that appear to be too good. Then we should also have is another means of confirming whatever idea we are giving here.
Right. Cybersecurity expert Olabode Agbola, he joined us from Coventry in the United Kingdom. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. Yeah.
And as we go on the program, did you know that Seychelles is a breathtaking 115-island archipelago in the Indian Ocean, known for being the world's only mid-ocean granite islands, serving as a premier eco-conscious tourist destination. As Africa's wealthiest nation per capita, it boasts a unique blend of Creole culture, a UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and a fascinating history of pirates. If you did not know, now you know. Thanks for watching. I'm Jack Rogers. Bye for now.